What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. We're kicking off Market Watch with Toon Chaos once again, but it's not number crunching ratios and that kind of stuff. A ton of you guys have been asking me, John, I'm interested in X or Y collector rare right now. Should I be buying or should I hold off a little? And also, I've pulled this collector rare. Should I be selling it now? So kind of these two different questions meeting heads. Also, I wanted to discuss the quality control issues we've actually been having in Toon Chaos and a little bit of a theory that's strung up because of it. So we're seeing here both in the EU and USA things like this happen, which this is actually pretty nice. One of the stream monsters got all these miscuts, Sellout Pro. I told him I would keep the heroes and both Chaos monsters for a while, the Sork and the Luster, and sell the rest, but he's like, I think I'm gonna keep them all for a bit, just flexing. I think that when it comes down to stuff like this, it's awesome to see, even if, you know, it's like, man, I wanted my mint cards. No, this is a good thing definitely to pull, but the ones that are like chopped up and in pieces basically, where people are saying they're crimped, well, if you can recreate the damage on a misprint, then it's a damaged card, unfortunately. Like pulling a holographic out of a pack without foiling on the name, you could just rub that off with some rubbing alcohol, so it really doesn't increase the value when things like that happen. You do have ink smears and other things happening, and whenever you have misprints like that, I generally suggest actually holding them for a while, because even if it's a common misprint now, as a lot of them go off market or into people's misprint collections, well, they're gonna go up in price from there. But definitely the other ones kind of damaged. The fact that allocation was short in both USA and EU, and we have the same printing problems in both places, screams that everything came from the same plant and they didn't make enough for everybody. That's why some things went short and other places weren't able to get their orders filled. It makes a lot of sense going with that theory, but again, it just comes down to that being a theory. So if you've pulled from both USA and EU allocated to Toon Chaos, let me know if you've noticed any differences in the pulls like usual. Like usually there's like a darker ink or something. Let me know if everything looks the same to you if you've managed to open both places. That being said, let's get to the collector rare question. Only 3 collector's rares right now are hanging above $200. I originally said that only a few would stick up to high prices, the rest would have mid-range, and then the trash ones would be kind of 30 to 40, but after really chewing through everything that Konami picked to be collector's rare, there's not really trash choices. I'm actually surprised Deadliest is a $2 ultra rare when you're only getting around 3 of those per case, 12 boxes, due to the math, and then we look at Toon Harpy Lady and the other Toons falling down. A ton of you guys said you're looking for max rarity Toon stuff or have committed to that. Well, it's actually looking pretty good in price, but things could even go down a little from here and then even back out, because if you're opening one case, you're looking at around 4 collector's rares, just a little under. So opening 2 cases is 7 to 8 collector rares, and versus a Starlight, only 1 appears there. It's still very hard to get the individual collector rares, which I think will drive their price up in the future, especially for the more wanted ones, but seeing the Toon stuff actually be the lowest here, casual doesn't mean broke. This is surprising to me, genuinely. Chaos Space is a meta card and will be used. You have Phoenix being there too. Cards that you want in playsets like Gamma, Desires, and Extravagance, of course, kind of leading the pack. Stardust has a higher rarity in Ghost Rare, so it's shocking despite how nice it looks to see it up here, but at the same time, boy, does it look amazing in person. And then you have BLS here, you know, GOAT format. Chaos cards. The thing that actually leads the charge. It makes sense for him to be so wanted. And Extravagance didn't get cooled by its reprint. So it really comes down to the collector rare you pulled. If you think it's apt to continue going down in price, like you think maybe these will be 125s, not enough people will want Gamma, even though it'll be in playsets. It's not going to be, you know, as wanted as Desires perhaps in the future, or it'll have its metagames where it can drive up. Yes, also Desires. Will this hold up versus the Ultimate Rare? There's a lot of questions, and Market Man doesn't always have all the answers. We can only theorio. Like, if an Ultimate Rare BLS came out in an OTS pack, would it hurt these prices? Would this be considered the highest rarity? Is this considered higher than the Ultimate, or will time tell a different story? We don't know all these answers. At least I don't. You can only make educated guesses going forward on how the market will react. And they went for Scapegoat and Book of Moon. I could see them matching the Ultimate Rare from Japan in an OTS pack one day, and that would be oh so sweet. That's something I would buy. But But man, it's pretty crazy out here to see what's falling first, and some of these I might buy sooner than later, while others I would kind of hope for them to go towards 125, but do think Starlights. Only individually about one of these will appear for every 4 cases if you're looking for a specific card, because that's like 16 total, about to 15/14. So when we're looking at 4 cases on average, yeah, it's towards one of each of these being pulled. And that's about half as hard to get as the original Starlights. That's a really low number. I know I said I wasn't going to crunch numbers, I just started thinking about that. But yeah, let's talk actually penny stonks and the rest of the set's Fallout. These have actually gone down towards 15. I would start to get these sooner than later, because look at the box prices. They dipped towards 80, they went back towards 110, and I think they're going to continue climbing unless another set run is done, like an unlimited wave, a special edition, something weird. I think you're going to see prices climb due to estimated value pulled, because guess what? This is continuing to go up. But a lot of people just busting these, getting collector's rares, and then the ultra rares have such good value too. Well, there's a lot of winning boxes, so the actual value pulled seems way too good versus the box. That's why I think the box will continue to go up instead of, you know, just the cards going down. I think some of these will go up also. Chaos Space was a low of $5 the other day. It's towards $6. People are grabbing these in playsets. You're pulling around 18 of these, I think, per case if it's not shorted. That's the average number of super rare pulls. I still haven't got my hands on the rare/supers to see if anything's shorted there, but I know the ultras have no shorts. Chaos Space, I think, is something to get in play sets, and I would have access to this card, just generically, depending on how metagames can pan out. Another Chaos format isn't something Konami's probably opposed to. Now, for penny stonks, I think Gamma's a great grab, especially at 50 cents. I could see this being $2 to $3 in the future. Desire's the same. Almost every version of it goes back up, similar to Lure in the past. And Toon Harpy Lady in the super rare slot, along with Acid, I think are great things to grab onto now. BLS did just have its common over in the Shaddoll structure deck. That's why I don't think it's necessarily the greatest grab to have. You now have a ton of versions of BLS floating around from recent history, and it's a pretty big investment when you have comparables and it's a lower rarity version. But these, Toon Harpy only has 1 printing, and we've seen things like Toon Mass Sorcerer up over time for multiple versions. I would think about having my copies of these on the side, and Acid for sure. And then, of course, the things people want to grab in playsets are pretty safe calls overall in the penny stonk range. And Code Generator, it's nice to see it in the set. It's its only copy. I'd love to see it have a holo reprint someday, but here we are with just the rare. Now let's look around at Eternity Code. We have a couple of Starlights starting to fall down in price, and other things falling down in price. The Dragon Maid is actually the cheapest. She's more collectible than playable overall, although she's great for the deck. You actually see her regular secret rare falling out in price. Validation. We'll talk about that in a bit. But the Water Charmer is the most interesting thing to me here, because it's more of a collectible card. It will be played in certain decks, and you can have it to out the Gizmek Ukaluk. But this card, this is really, really cool in terms of seeing how a collectible translates from Japan that's popular over there to over here. Konami might actually take note of this and give us the Charmer structure deck. That's one of the most asked questions in String 2. What structure decks are they going to skip after skipping the Warrior one and Pendulum Evolution becoming a pack? Like, I think we might actually get the Charmer structure if Konami's taking notes of things like these. But yeah, I called this to be $12, and where are we at? Sometimes I get to say I told you so, and so many people were telling me this would be 20 plus. Oh no. When it comes to a core set, it's oh so different from a side set, and it's nice to see history actually prove repetition versus how many people can grab a card. Gearsu is towards $40 here with a couple motivated sellers under, so it's actually dipping under that $40 mark for one of the first times here. It's just not performing. Orcust isn't doing it, and the ban list didn't really provide it this window like a lot of people thought it might to bust open into the meta. Here we are. Orcust is a rogue deck, and it's a good rogue deck, but that's it. This is an amazing card. A 1-card Needle Fiber does so much. Searchable by the Mech Knight engine as well. Multi-deck shifting, if you want to put it that way, just not doing enough, and its price point is slowly draining. Speaking of draining, Link Cross is still around $15. I think the moment we get our first confirmed YCS, whenever that may be, This will skyrocket if the synchro engine's still around, but that's why people are scared to buy this or go in on it. That's a big if and a big win when it comes to this card. Mystic Mine is going up, up, up. I just want to give you a friendly reminder. Dark Neostorm is one of the reprints for the 10s, and I unfortunately see this getting a hollow upgrade to Prismatic Secret Rare. It's painful to say, but I really think that will be happening in the Megatins. Utopia Lightning for all versions is pretty interesting to talk about. The super rare's been going up. The Germans are still available towards $13 if we can get this to work. And we see that the English copies are still upwards of $25 for the supers, which is more expensive than the ultras and secrets. It's just hard to get those super special edition versions. But the ultimate rare is getting back up there as well. It's had its buyout, its fallout, and now it's starting to go back up. So if you're a number hunter, we've been talking about that a lot more on Market Watch. Here's the highest rarity version. Not everybody thinks this looks that clean. I personally like the secret rare the most, but if you're a number hunter looking for highest rarities or collecting every version of numbers, Utopia Lightning, at least the highest rarity, really seems to be sticking up there and starting to trend back upwards. Savage Strike is something that's going to be in the Megatins, and I just want to point out World Legacy Guard Dragon's like a $20 card. Don't lose your butt on this card. Sell it sooner than later, no matter what deck you're playing. I know the Red Emerald is coming out too, making that card all the more needed. People are looking at Brotar too. Still, I think they will, just like Secession, put this in the Megatins as a rarity upgrade, not a downgrade. Heritage of the Chalice is a card a ton of people have been asking me about, and if they should get it sooner than later. I mean, it's a core set that's going to bring value to this. This would have to get like a Battles of Legend reprint or a random side set slot, kind of like how Ignis Heat got a, hollow foil reprint upgrade there, or Hidden City got a downgrade. It would have to randomly appear in a side set, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. One of the odd-off side sets, or an OTS pack, question mark, which would be a long ways off because OTS packs are getting backed up. So my advice on this is get it sooner than later and pay the extra $1 to get the Mega Pack version using my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra and supporting the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Meme. Now, number 38 is a penny stonk I've been eyeing for a while, and it's still pretty low quantities, but it's appearing in a lot more decks, especially to stave off cards like Lightning Storm, and so many things keep getting access to rank 8s or rank 9s for a very friendly dragon known as Calamities. I think this is still a great grab at $3, and it's one of the few cards, Xyz cards, that make the gold rare not look so bad either, so kind of take your preference and goes in with the number hunting aspect. I would love to see this in a regular secret rare and Battles of Legend. That would just be nice. Cyber Load Fusion, when it comes to, sealed products that have done very well over time for their price point, $200 on Legendary Duelist White Dragon Abyss. But this is one of the few super rares out of Duelist packs here that have really stuck up over time, and after its buyouts, it really hasn't gone back down. So just to note, Cyberload Fusion is very stable and one of the few cards that Cyber Dragon Duelists seem to be sticking to, and a ton of people are playing one. It seems like more people have come together and said, yes, play this card abso-freaking-lutely. Now, for your collector's market speed run here, we've got Cyber Laser Dragon, the DR listing getting bought out to ridiculous proportions. I think that the Haman, Raviel, and Yuria from DR4 Ultra Rares are terrible buys because the originals come Ultra and people did not take this serious until very recently, and the market price actually shifting up, which yesterday it was not. And you see already listed 95 near mint, 93. People actually have copies of these. This was taken more as a joke. I know it's Dark Revelations 4, one of the best investment sets of all time, but I still think because you have ultimate rares being bigger, people are just going after any and everything Sacred Beast with the structure deck coming, and also collectibles. I don't like this version and how it falls out versus the rest of the collectible versions, though, especially if a market bubble pop ever came in. I think your sales rates will be terrible. When it comes to TP1 and 2, we've seen a ton of buyouts. No price on Blue Medicine, no price on Goddess of the Third Eye, no price on Beautiful Headhuntress, for example. A ton of people are going and buying up these collectibles at actually pretty ridiculous prices to have that flex of complete sets, tournament packs, some of the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think, let's actually make sure. I feel like Epic had one of these a bit ago. Yeah, Epic Cards and Games here, out of the DFW, $50. Definitely support them from Texas. I love them. They're really good for the community. And we see that towards 50, just ridiculous prices on listings, though, for TP stuff. Bean Soldier, the meme, actually not falling out. Commons for $20, despite multiple listers ready for this meme. I think the collector's market's in a ridiculous place, but you guys want to see collector's cards, and I don't mind bringing the speed run like this. It's still just this. Collectors are not really the ones buying at these prices. Like, they're just looking at horror, as investors are more so going for this and playing investor hot potato of, here, you will buy this card, it's gonna go up. Oh yeah, it went up, I'm gonna sell it now. Oh, you're interested? And it's not really collectors that are going to end-game get any of these. It may be somebody with collector's taste that's an investor, but it's a lot of people that are just flipping them off on each other, and that's how the market's gonna continue to go until there is a bubble crash. So I want to call them terrible investments, TP1, TP2, but they're not immune from this insane market that's been happening, and we see people throwing their money at commons and rares as well. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation, and please use that TCG player link in the description down below. It really helps during these times with terrible ad revenue and the health and all of that. It's the medical bills are no joke, boys.